Busch Gardens Williamsburg. My favorite place to go in the summer. And I got here just in time for a rope drop in 2 minutes. And the one that was closed on me last year is currently closed. Head over to Big Bad Wolf. Well, Big Bad Wolf was having a short breakdown, so I came over here. Dark Coaster had just opened. So it was down at the start of the day, but they got it up and running. And I only waited about 15 to 20 minutes to get on. The estimated time is now up to 50, which actually for this ride is not bad. And I was able to get the front row. It is just a family coaster, but it's a solid one. The launches pack a little bit of a punch to them, and you get to go around the course twice with different theming on each lap. I got 2 rides 2 years ago. Finally got my 3rd ride. And yes, they are doing it again. Free beer for July. By the time I get this posted, it'll be over. 3 of the last 4 years that I've been here in July, and they've been doing this. Pass holders and members can get a free 7-ounce beer per day, plus 2 50-cent beers for everyone over 21 and up. It's basically between Alpengeist and Dark Coaster. You can get the free beer. Alpengeist in the front row. That was incredible. I think this is now my 2nd favorite B&M invert. Nothing can top Montu, but Alpengeist, I think I gotta put that ahead of Banshee. The male turned female invader, still riding pretty rough. This road's so good on my first visit here in 2018. That track's getting rougher and rougher. It's still 1 ride per visit. So Pantherian / I-305, that first turn doesn't make me gray out at all, but Griffin's Giant Immelman does make me gray out. I'm 4 rides in on Griffin. I've done the front row twice, back row twice, edge seats, 1 time 3 in from the edge. All 4 rides grayed out on this first Giant Immelman. There's something about the giant B&M Immelmans that make me gray out. Really has me curious for what Tormenta's gonna do to me. I'm looking forward to that. So last month I had that day where I got 44 laps on Iron Rattler. So give me 44 laps on my favorite coaster, or give me 1 showing of Celtic Fire. I will take the 1 showing of Celtic Fire every single time. This is by far and away my #1 attraction at any amusement / theme park that I've ever been to. And I can't imagine anything ever even coming close to topping it. And I get to see it 3 times each day that I'm here. Yeah, it doesn't matter how tired I am. Doesn't matter how hot it is, how overheated I am. You get me to Busch Gardens Williamsburg after a showing of Celtic Fire, that just rejuvenates me. I've been here nearly 5.5 hours. I still haven't ridden Pantheon. I'm about to remedy that, but there's just so much to do here. Yeah, there's some people that realize that I'm filming and decided to start shouting out R-rated language. Oh, Pantheon's listed at 30 minutes. I've not seen Pantheon with more than a station wait since opening season. Not on a weekday, at least. Fortunately, I've gotten so many rides on this over the years. If I only get a few on a visit, that's totally fine. I'm doing a Loch Ness Monster Marathon. Just like the Bat at Kings Island. Always got to do Loch Ness Monster Marathon. I've seen all 3 Celtic Fire shows, so that automatically makes this an incredible day at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Apollo's Chariot has been closed. Hopefully it'll be open tomorrow. And Pantheon still has a pretty long line. Longest line I've ever seen for it. This is one of the busier visits I've had to Busch Gardens Williamsburg, but it's still not that busy. And I'm still sour that they took away an awesome drop tower to put in tables. 10 laps on Nessie today. First time I've reached double figures on this coaster. And it's mostly because Pantheon has consistently had 30+ minute line all day, which of course is not terrible if you compare it to some other parks that their headline attraction can draw hour plus every single day. So 10 on Nessie, 7 on Griffin. Those are pretty much the last coasters to develop a long line in the park. This is the busiest weekday that I've seen in the summer visit. Well, it does kind of go with what I've said, that it does seem like parks are busier now than they've been since I basically started this hobby 10 years ago. So I feel like pretty much since 2016, 2026 is probably the busiest year of all, at least for the parks that I've gone to. Maybe some people have gone to parks that are a lot more empty than they've been before. That just hasn't been my experience at the parks I've gone to. And I came over here to end my day at Pantheon. That's not gonna happen. It's broken. Apollo's Chariot is broken. So guess where I'm going back to? So I ended my day with 3 laps in the final 20 minutes on Loch Ness Monster. That makes 13 for the day, and I had 0 at 5:30. It just turned out that this was the one to do the final few hours of today because of ride breakdowns elsewhere, long lines, so it made that one the perfect one to marathon towards the end. So this day may not have gone exactly the way that other days here have gone, but it was still a great day. And I'll hope for more Pantheon rides tomorrow than just 2. Every other person at the entrance gate had problems with their tickets, mostly because of their phone. That's why you need to get a physical pass and just carry a physical pass around with you. It's much better that way, much more convenient, and you don't have to deal with the hassles of a phone failing on you in some way. There are about 45 different ways that a phone can fail on you when you have your ticket or your pass on your phone. So get a printout of it. Get a printout of your pass. You sail right through. When a person had a problem with their pass on their phone, they just stood there trying to figure it out, holding up the whole line for several minutes. So that was another 15 minutes. So I'm extremely late getting into the park. I was all set to be here right at rope drop, but all the delays have me way behind. So my advice moving forward is to not do things the way that I did it these 2 days, which was to basically get parked 5 to 10 minutes early with the idea of being able to just start walking at rope drop right when you walk in the park. You need to get here about 30 minutes early, even though that entails getting in line and then waiting behind the rope for a while. Still, just in case there could be some delays with parking and getting through the turnstiles. Dark Coaster broke down, so I'm heading to Verbolten. When I said yesterday that parks this year have been way busier than I've seen them in my 10, 11 years of doing this, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It does mean you're not going to get to do as many rides. You're going to be waiting in more lines. However, it's good for the park. You don't want them to go out of business. We're seeing that with Wild Waves. What's interesting though is that Wild Waves was getting massive attendance and they're closing, but Fun Spot gets hardly any attendance and they're closing. So you got both ends of the spectrum there. You want the parks to succeed so that they're still here for you for decades to come. Yeah, Wild Waves is an example of huge attendance and high prices to get in are not a guarantee that the park won't close on you. But you don't want low attendance to be a reason for a park to close, so it's good that they're getting big attendance. We're 1 hour in, and Verbolten still only has about a 3 train wait. I've ridden it 4 times in the first hour. That's 5 for the trip. I have more than double the rides on Verbolten compared to Apollo's Chariot and Pantheon combined. Although a guy did tell me that he rode Apollo's Chariot, so it's open for now. I've done a couple more on Big Bad Wolf here today. My front row ride, the onboard audio is working. Seems like there's only a few seats with onboard audio still working. And that is too bad because the onboard audio does add a lot to the ride. Now riding it without the onboard audio, yeah, that's gonna drop a bit in my rankings. But Dark Coaster being open at this time really helps to limit the lines on Big Bad Wolf and Verbolten, at least during the first couple hours of the day. And in case you're thinking of waiting till the last hour of the day or so to do the 3 family coasters back here, in my experience, the line does not let up on the 3 family coasters all the way till closing. Maybe it lets up a little bit. Maybe it goes from an hour to 45 minutes. But the first couple hours of the day is when you want to knock out these family coasters. And the 3 family coasters I'm referring to, of course, are Big Bad Wolf, Dark Coaster, and Verbolten. So for the 2 days, 5 on Verbolten, 4 on Big Bad Wolf, 1 on Dark Coaster. I'll take that. All 10 of those rides were in the first hour and a half of each day. I actually got on Apollo's Chariot this visit. How about that? In the back row, and that was giving really good airtime. Maybe the best ride I've ever had on it. Haven't ridden Tempesto yet. I might, especially now that they've gotten rid of those stupid discomfort collars. There's one of the school groups that's flooded Tempesto right now. And there's another one that was over at Apollo's Chariot. I guess there's none at Pantheon. They're listing a 5-minute wait. I got a couple laps on Pantheon. I'm glad I did, because it's broke down again. After those 2 laps, the line had built up quite a bit, so I came over and did Tempesto without the discomfort collars. That is so much better. Well, I'm glad I got my 2 rides on Apollo's Chariot when I did. It just broke down again. Of course it did, it's a B&M. So for the 2nd straight day, Pantheon and Apollo's Chariot having all kinds of mechanical issues. And from an operation standpoint, definitely has not been the strongest visit that I've had here. I still love the park though. Wow, yikes. I think I just got really lucky the last couple visits to have no crowds and no lines on anything all day except for Dark Coaster and Verbolten after a few hours. Seems like the crowd has dissipated a lot. Some of the school groups have left. The line for Alpengeist earlier was really long, which tells you everything had a long line. But having ridden it about an hour ago, it had no line at all. So sometimes those fluky things just happen. Yesterday, I think it was just a general fluky thing that it was quite busy. But today was mobbed because of school groups that you never know when they're going to show up. But despite its age, it still rides great. Even though they're tearing down Kumba, Alpengeist shouldn't be going anywhere. I was able to get back on Pantheon. Waited about 20 minutes, but the line has grown since then. So those times over my past visits where I saw this with no line in the last 2 hours, I think those days might be over. So if you watch those vlogs in the past and you expect to find Pantheon with no wait in the last hour, that's probably not going to happen anymore. But I am glad I got the 5 rides, 2 yesterday, 3 today. With how popular this park is getting and how popular this ride is getting, that's a good number to get. Of course, to put it in perspective, a ride I like better at King's Dominion, I got 16 rides on in an hour and a half the other day. And this took me 2 days to get 5 rides. But I will head back over there in a little bit, but I'm gonna get a few more on Apollo's Chariot because it's back up and running again. It's been down a lot, so gotta go ride it while it's open. Well, I didn't get last ride of the night on Pantheon, but I did get a front row ride. And that was my 5th of the day, 7th of the trip. I'll take it. With how busy it was these last 2 days, which it wasn't terribly busy, it was just more busy than what I've had at this park and my previous visits on weekdays. So to get 7 rides, I'm happy with that. I ended up with 7 on Apollo's Chariot too, after getting 0 yesterday. So let's see, I also ended up with 7 on Alpengeist over the 2 days, and 10 on Griffin, and 16 on Loch Ness Monster. But more importantly than any of that, I got to see Celtic Fire all 6 shows for the 2 days that I was here. My #1 attraction at any theme/amusement park. I got to see it 6 times, all 6 times that it was offered. It also helps that it's air conditioned in there. Not as air conditioned as the Oktoberfest building, but at least it's some air conditioning because the heat was a bit stifling. I don't know if it was just me or what, but it felt really hot to me today especially. And I can usually take the heat pretty well, but that was really getting to me. I had to sit in the air conditioning for a while. But that's it from Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Tomorrow I'll be back at King's Dominion.